Welcome to the Lakeland Stadium here at Rowrah in Cumbria, where we are here to cover the independent race meeting. It's Bambino's up first, and here's the grid with Jake Sanson.
8 young talents, all at the genesis of their motorsport career. Harry Neeson and Riley Morrow, then Jack Mellon and Teddy Power on the second, Jamie Walsh and Oliver Muir with Ethan McClelland and Jake Gibbon. 8 drivers all ready for the off, and away they go up to the first chicane, and it looks like a very decent start indeed for Riley Morrow. But Neeson is going to hold it through the first chicane. Oh, goodness me. Jack Mellon was trying to get through into second position through the first chicane. Realised he had to bail out of it once Riley Morrow held the opening line. But this is quite an incredible thing. The Bambinos, they are wonderful young lads and lasses in these categories. And Bambinos, it just baffles me how young some of these guys are that are taking their racing steps for the very first time. Quite astonishing.
Yeah, Harry Neeson, he looks like the real big driver in this field with the most amount of experience so far. As a spinner.
That's a slip up from Ethan McClelland, but he gets it going very quickly indeed on the right chassis. Very good job.
Yeah, he's got it going again. But Harry Neeson looks like the big name in this field at the moment that they're all going to contend with, and I don't think they are going to contend with him. Well, you can see clearly they're not, because that is a... Where is he? There he is. That is a ridiculous lead on the first lap, but he is literally, if you look at the earlier results, he's something like 4 or 5 seconds a lap, potentially quicker than any other driver, which is crazy.
That's the thing. This class at Bambino is all about confidence. Yeah, it's all about your mentality and how quickly you are learning on that developmental train.
And as you said earlier, Jake, it's about, this is the starting point. So some of these kids may have only been, I don't know what the history of a lot of them are, but some of them may have only been in the kart for couple of weeks.
Could even have been a couple of days.
Could be. And here they are at a race meeting. That's another.
That's a slide for the second place man. That's Riley Morrow just losing traction on the way out of McRae's. And so Mellon is going to get through there into second position. So Mellon through into second place. There he is on the 58. Morrow collects it very quickly, actually, to get back into third place in front of Teddy Power. So a good recovery drive there from Morrow. Not easy once you lose the back end of the kart, and it's so easy to do in Bambino because obviously you're pushing the limits for the very first time. For a lot of these guys, this will be only their second or third race tops at this level and in a final of this nature. So they're really going to be working very hard indeed to push the limits. So they're obviously going to find them a lot quicker than some of the drivers in cadet or junior or senior ever would.
Absolutely. You can see the leader going across the finish line there. That is Neeson, sets the fastest lap, 106.8. But these drivers, they've got buddies to play with, and that's what you want. If you're in Bambino, you want people that are around about your level. In fact, in any class, really, you want people around about your level that you can play with.
And the thing as well, you've got to remember the lap times they're doing, 1 minute 6.8. These guys can be as young as, 4, 5, 6 years old, sometimes even younger.
They are in some places, yeah. They are in some places. I'm not sure what the age limit here at the Let's Go Karting meeting that we're covering here today, but
in terms of scale, the top speed of these karts and the experience factor of these kids, this is going to feel like the Indy 500 to them.
Oh, absolutely. If you think about their age and how fast they're going, they'll still be doing probably 35, 40. If you think about a corporate kart, if somebody's watching this, they've done some corporate karting, somebody with a bit of an issue going through McRae's hairpin.
I think that was Gibbon versus Walsh, just got a little bit too close for comfort, but they've sorted themselves out quite nicely.
Yeah, if you think about the sort of speed that you can do on some of the corporate karts, these kids won't be doing far off that sort of speed, 35, 40 mile an hour.
Stuff that, they're going faster than I drive on the road.
That's true, but that's you, Jake.
Yes, it is just me. Power and Muir having a great little tussle into the final turn. So Muir having a little seek there behind Teddy Power, hoping to try and make his way through. And this is how you learn about racecraft. You follow in the kart behind, you look at where they're making their moves, where they're picking their braking point, where their acceleration point is, and then you read the situation. This man out front doesn't have to worry about any of that. Harry Neeson with a decent advantage. Here is Jake Gibbon, the number 4, who's worked his way forward and is there in front of Jamie Walsh. They run out of the final turn and they're trying to get well clear of Ethan McClelland. This man is very much riding the crest of the wave out front. For him, this will be quite dull from his perspective. He'll want to race with people, so it might not be too long before he's stepping up to bigger fish to fry. Yeah,
we could see him in a Micromax in the not too distant future, I suspect. It'll be interesting to see Harry Neeson when he does move up and starts taking part in arguably more competitive racing. But it's certainly a name to look out for in the future, Jake, Harry Neeson.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Bambino Karting, there is a sort of a guideline age, but, you know, you can't put an age on quality. We hear a lot about Formula One drivers getting into the kart for the first time, the age 4, 5, 6. And when you're ready, you're ready. It's as simple as that.
Johnny Edgar was at PFI. I was at PFI the day Johnny Edgar went out at PFI for the first time. He was 3 years old.
Wow.
3 years old. That's Johnny Edgar, and if you watch Formula One at the weekend, Johnny Edgar is now part of the Red Bull program.
Indeed.
And he was on the F1 program, as was Arvid Lindblad, somebody we both know really well.
Yes, indeed. I mean,
Super One days.
That's the thing with racing, isn't it? Excellence knows no age. Verstappen made his F1 debut age 17. When you're ready, you're ready. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, quality driver, Verstappen. Probably my favourite driver, albeit that I always want Brits to win. But
well, you're not going to be waiting long for Lando and George, are you?
No, exactly, exactly.
And one of these guys.
I'm really hoping George gets that drive next year with Mercedes.
Oh, we all want that. We all want to see that. And, you know, we're talking about these guys today here at Rowrah, but come 2033, you know, we could be talking about them in Formula One.
Absolutely.
Very
There's
decent
no
chance
doubt.
of it.
I mean, it's crazy to think about it, isn't it? You could, like I say, I mean, George Russell took part in my Motors TV series back in 2007. His mum mechanic for him at Lid. He was at best, I'm going to say, a midfield runner. I don't think he was even in the midfield. That's George Russell we're talking about. It's a bit like us looking at Gibbon here on the forecast in 15 years time, and saying, we remember filming him at Rowrah in the Bambino race, and he was there in 8th place.
Well, indeed. I mean, one of my first
today.
karting interviews would have been with a young Lando Norris at the side of the Autosport NEC show in the Johnny Herbert Karting Challenge at 2013, and he was no higher than my elbow. So, yeah, fascinating to see that these guys really do learn on the job. They've obviously got to go through the grind. They've got to work their way forward. And these guys are learning on the job, doing a fantastic job of it. I've only seen a couple of major mistakes. That's a good save. Do you know what? That is a brilliant save from Riley Morrow.
That's a Gordon Banks or a Peter Schmeichel right there.
It is. Do you know what? I mean, I've seen many a better driver lose it at that point on that part of the course and not be able to save it. They've literally gone straight for the gravel. So Riley Morrow catching that on pure instinct. Good to see.
Absolutely. And that comment there, Gordon Banks, is for the older generation amongst you, and the Peter Schmeichels are for the Manchester United fans.
Is that for the grandfathers of these Bambinos potentially?
They know what I'm talking about. They'll remember a goalkeeper who lost an eye in a car crash after the World Cup. It was tragic. He still performed at the top level as a goalkeeper with one eye. Yep. That takes some doing right there.
So there is the 58 running a good race here in second place. Jack Mellon keeping it nice and tidy all the way through. In Bambinos, it may not be a laugh a minute in the same way that it is with all of the other categories, but you've got to take this into context. These guys are making their first dip into motorsport, and they are learning on the job. And that is Muir having made his way past Teddy Power. So Oliver Muir is now battling there wheel to wheel with Teddy Power. Power is trying to get him back again.
We didn't quite see if he did. That is Gibbon.
And that's the man in front of Walsh. So Jamie Walsh there on the 39. Ethan McClelland just following in progression behind them, just trying to ease his way back up to a solid pace. But this man, great performance, great confidence from Harry Neeson. Not a wheel wrong, just running in his rhythm the way he's clearly loving it.
Yeah, he looks quite big in this kart as well. He can't be in Bambino much longer. I'm expecting to see him in Micromax next year, Jake, quite frankly. Well, because if you look at the size of him in the kart, he looks quite big.
He's
Compare
one of the taller
his
drivers.
size to these drivers.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're saying. In this class, you've got a whole raft of different experiences. So Neeson is clearly more experienced than the other drivers, if I get my worms out. And you can clearly see that's why he's got this amount of lead. But look at the size of him in the kart, and then look at the size of the other lads we've just been looking at. Last lap.
Well, Harry Neeson is going to have an absolute canter to the victory, half a minute clear of Mellon. He won't be the first driver to have done that in Bambino, because you do get differing rates of experience, but it's good to see that Harry Neeson has come straight into this race, not having dropped a heat at any point through this Let's Go Karting weekend here at Rowrah, but he is full of confidence, brimming with pride at the machinery underneath him. And now we've got this battle shaping up. That's Walsh making his bid on Jake Gibbon. He gets through, and so too, lapping them comes Jack Mellon. So that was nice and opportunistic from Jamie Walsh. He knew that the leaders were coming through, so he had to make that move on Jake Gibbon before Mellon caught up to him.
Well, unfortunately, Jake's clearly got a problem with the kart, Jake. You can clearly see they've gone past him and his kart's slowing, so Jake's got a problem.
Yeah, good point. It does sound a little bit weak. And there you've got the 45 of Oliver Muir still hustling Teddy Power, so that could go on to the end of the race as well. They're not going to get lapped by the race leader, Harry Neeson. Neeson's going to come through. Excellent display from the youngster. He's been absolutely on it all weekend long, and he is going to take a commanding victory here at Rowrah off the final turn. Thank you very much, and that's the win, and he's delighted with it.
He loves it, and so he should do as well.
Commanding effort. Here comes Jack Mellon. He's going to be in second place. He'll probably just be able to overhaul Jamie Walsh to the end. Or maybe not, actually. Walsh has got good pace off the final turn. So Walsh will come home, having not been lapped by everybody, just the leader. Jack Mellon through in second place. Here comes Riley Morrow. Good effort from him despite his couple of little lapses. But he has fought valiantly there to get third position. Could easily have lost it all, but he kept his nerve. This battle for fourth is going to go to the wire. Teddy Power just hanging on in front of Oliver Muir, and Muir's not quite going to overhaul him. Not a bad run from either driver. They've worked hard there, and the rest of the field have already come through, having taken a lap in advance. So Harry Neeson will take the victory from Jack Mellon in second place, Riley Morrow in third, Teddy Power and Oliver Muir the only other drivers on the same lap, Jamie Walsh and Jake Gibbon, and then Ethan McClelland comes through in 8th place. A solid run for Harry Neeson.
Coming up in part 2, we've got more cadet karting for you. Micromax, 3 local drivers, Iami Cadet, Honda Cadet and Honda Cadet 200. Join us then.